Hello, this week's Friday Focus. I am visiting with Mrs. Naughton, who runs our one of our CTE programs. It's our PAL program. It is National CTE Month, and so we wanted to focus on some of our CTE programs. And I was going to visit with Ms. Naughton about what our PAL program is and let you to explain what our students do.
Okay, great. Well, that's easy. So PAL stands for Peer Assistance and Leadership. And so what the PALs do, their purpose in the district is to serve children who are at risk for something, okay? And I really want to emphasize, at risk doesn't necessarily mean that they are troubled children or kids that are in trouble. They're just kids that are dealing with something in their lives. COVID is obviously a big thing right now, but most years it's dealing with, kids that maybe their parents are deployed overseas, in the military. Maybe the family is, struggling with an illness, or it could just be a child that's a little active in the classroom and needs someone to sort of help them gain the skills of, doing well in the classroom. So lots of reasons that we would serve children. So what I do is for the first couple of months of each year, I train my PALs to just understand children and how to be a mentor. And our motto is play with a purpose. And so what that means is that if you look at the PAL, and we call them the PALE together, what you'll see is two kids that look like they're playing. Well, they're playing a game, but the game has a purpose. Maybe they will play the game and have conversations. We will, try to encourage the child to talk and tell us about, whatever's going on in their lives, whatever their concerns are. And so it looks like we're playing, and like I said, we are playing, but it's with a purpose, the purpose of helping the child to open up and have some fun and develop a good relationship with the PAL.
So the students that are in the PAL program, not the students we're trying to help, but the students that choose to be in the program, what are their career aspirations? Why do they want to be in the PAL program, and what are they trying to hope to get out of the PAL program?
Well, originally when PAL started, it wasn't a part of the CTE program, and then when the state divided over, created the new CTE programs, and counseling and mental health was one of those, we felt that PAL was just a perfect fit in there. So most of the students that are in PAL now have the desire to go into counseling, perhaps being a psychologist or psychiatrist. I have one former PAL who is studying to be she's doing her master's work and going on to her doctorate eventually as a neuropsychologist. I have 3 students who graduated from here that are working as what's called child life specialists. A child life specialist is someone who works in the hospital setting, playing with and doing activities with children that are hospitalized. So that and social work. I've got a lot of students who have pursued social work once they've left here.
And that kind of ties me right into it, with the pandemic going on and the emphasis on social and emotional learning. We need more professionals moving into this field to help with students. So I think that's a direct correlation and pipeline for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. The statistics are showing that, counseling and mental health occupations are definitely growing. Child life certification is probably one of the biggest growth areas. When maybe 10 years ago there was maybe one child life specialist in any hospital, and now every single children's hospital in the country has a child life specialist or 2 on every floor.
Wow.
How do you think we could get better counseling services, more, I guess, involvement from outside sources, resources to come in and to help with some of the social emotional issues that our students deal with?
Oh, that's a really good question. Well, I really enjoy having speakers come and talking to individual classes as opposed to large groups, because then kids feel a little bit more free to ask questions and that sort of thing. So,
okay, all right. Well, thank you very much for your time, and keep up the good work.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And now I'm visiting with Mr. Creasy, who heads up another one of our CTE programs, robotics. Okay, and last year you also headed up designing
maintenance.
computer maintenance, which basically we had students who built computers, and the computers that are in this room were built by your students, and we have a whole lab where they built those computers. And then we had a brand new program that we brought in last year, robotics. Okay, and I'll kind of let you explain where we are with the robotics program and what our kids are doing with that.
Sure. So last year robotics started as really just a 3 or 4 student kind of semi-club. This year we've introduced an actual course in robotics where students are actually building multiple robots and then competing in different UIL competitions.
No BattleBots though, right?
Not this year, no.
Okay, all right. But the UIL competitions, you know, can you explain how those operate and what those look like?
Sure.
for the students?
So the first competition that we did last semester was with a group called Best Robotics, where they essentially gave us a panel of plywood, some motors, and said, figure it out. And I was super impressed. You know, I don't come necessarily from a robotics background, and so the kids, they jumped right in and really figured it out for themselves. I mean, we competed, and you know, we scored better than, you know, some of the schools that have been doing this for years. So.
Well, you kind of touched on a topic, experiential learning, you know,
Definitely.
where the students dive in hands-on, and this is completely hands-on, as you can see, and, you know, they basically tear it apart, put it together, re-tear it apart, and it's continual experiential learning that, you know,
Definitely.
it's not a whole lot of guidance from you, it's just more steering them, you know.
Definitely.
So I think that is incredible. Look forward to many future years of success from our students.
Definitely.
Anything else you'd like to add about the program? really quick?
I'm super excited about this. You know, that I also teach computer science, and so getting to see the students not only you know, construct things, use the engineering skills, but then implementing, you know, the computer science to program them and get them to move around is exciting for me.
How about the critical thinking that goes into it?
Definitely. You know, we spend so much time, you know, the planning stage is almost more important than the actual, you know, putting things together. Once you've got a good plan down, you know, tightening the screws on it is pretty simple.
And the teamwork and collaboration that go into play as well. So,
Yeah, the team dynamics is very much a key.
and how much do you think this is preparing them for the job world?
So I've had students that came to me and said, you know, I'd never really thought about engineering, but after taking this class, that's a major for them in college now.
All right, well, I appreciate your time and continue the great work. And as always, the future is bright in Kennedale ISD.